In this video, I'm gonna go over the methods of the Mount Hua Sect. Don't catch me on that pronunciation, I don't know how to do it. Before I begin, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. Here's a quick background, which you can skip to this timestamp to start the training methods. The Mount Hua Sect is a fictitious martial arts sect that I've either seen or mentioned in multiple webtoons. There does seem to be a real sect, though I couldn't find much about it, and what I did find, it does say they are not well known for martial arts. As for the fictional one, it's a sword sect, recognizable by the plum blossom symbol, and some repeated martial arts throughout these different webtoons, such as the plum blossom sword or violet mist arts. With the plum blossom sword technique being able to create both a visual effect and smell of plum blossoms blooming, both of which is impossible to do in reality. So sticking to reality, the first portion is basic training, and where I normally suggest to watch another video I've made, in this case I'm going to go into more detail as depicted in these webtoons. In specific, the webtoon is called Return to the Mount Hua Sect, where the reincarnated Plum Blossom Sword Saint emphasizes on certain aspects to focus on, specifically strengthening the basics, whether it's physical exercises or just technique, before moving on to higher level ones. He uses the analogy of a building with a strong foundation versus one without. For the basics, one exercise that he does along with the other third class disciples is basically barbell squats. However, his version used a wooden sword as the bar and two heavy boulders tied to each side. And he goes to like 10,000 plus reps, which is fucking insane. You shouldn't go that heavy or that far. Instead, try and find a reasonable amount at first by testing from just the bar or less, and then going up in weight until you're somewhat close to your 1 rep max to mimic the heaviness of the boulders. And then each training session, try and hit 3 to 4 sets of 5 to 6 reps. Then you can increase the weight each workout using micro plates, whether it's 2.5 pounds on each side or even less, like 1.25 on each side. The second exercise is weighted push-ups, which can be useful, but its limiting factor being that it's really hard to continue increasing the weight on your back without it falling off and potentially injuring you. So along with this, you should also do bench press with the same concept, going heavy with low reps, as I mentioned previously. The third and fourth exercises are putting a large amount of rocks into a bag and running with them, and you also see a glimpse of them doing the classic 2 buckets of water across the shoulder as they're moving. Here are 2 similar but different alternatives to these. The first is rucking, a great cardio and strength exercise where you place a bunch of heavy items like textbooks, rocks, water bottles into a backpack and go for a walk. There are some great videos on YouTube to show you the technique and proper form and how to progress in weight. The other is a farmer's carry, which involves picking up 2 heavy objects and walking with them. Similar case, there's many YouTube videos on how to do it properly. While very similar, farmer's carries for one works your upper body as well as you're holding it. And because you're holding it, the weakest point is going to be your grip. So if the weight were the same for the rucking or the farmer's carries, you would spend much less time on the farmer's carries continuously. But the easy fix is just increasing the weight, which is also beneficial as it's only for short periods of time, so you're less likely to get injured if you were to increase the weight for the farmer's carries, as opposed to increasing the weight abruptly for the rucking, which can lead you to get injured. The fifth exercise that you see is them swinging their swords in repetition, usually in like a group, practicing the techniques they learned, making sure to perfect it. Once again, in the story, the MC explains that in relation to learning basic techniques should be the emphasis instead of immediately jumping to higher level ones. Now, if you're interested in swordsmanship, I have made a video, not necessarily on sword techniques, but more so on some methods and concepts shown in Avatar: The Last Airbender. However, in my opinion, while it's still around, sword fighting is not as prevalent or popular in relation to something like unarmed martial arts, such as MMA, Thai boxing, kickboxing, boxing, wrestling, BJJ, etc. The same concepts still apply to the unarmed martial arts though, where you should practice the basic techniques first for long periods of time, such as the jab, straight, hooks, roundhouse kick, leg kick, takedowns, sprawls, elbows, knees, etc. And not immediately jumping to more advanced techniques because they look cool, like for example Sanchai's cartwheel kick. It's a very risky kick to do unless you're like an experienced fighter like Sanchai who has fought for multiple years. And the experience is important, which is what brings me to the next exercise, feeling death. This is where he attacks each disciple with a real sword, making them feel fear. While the exact technique that he does is dangerous, the concept behind it is very important, as it can help you get used to the fear of being hit or taken down, and it can be done by just consistent sparring or matches, and even better if it's with different opponents, better than you, equal, less than you, so you feel a variety of pressures and techniques, and ways to counter and defend and attack. The next, not really an exercise, but more like a philosophy, which is Taoism, as the Hua Sect is a Taoist sect. A basic explanation of Taoism from a quick search is that it's an ancient Chinese philosophy focusing on harmony, flow, patience, humility, etc. And while all those qualities can be useful both in fighting and in real life, I wanted to focus on flow, or effortless action as put by this YouTube video on Taoism. The reason why is that should be the goal you should be aiming for when practicing the basic techniques and eventually more advanced techniques, where you practice it enough times that you go into a flow state. You're doing the Bruce Lee line, right? Be like water. The flow state is a mental state where your full attention is on a single activity, or to say you're present in the moment, which allows you to increase your focus, reduce self-consciousness, less distractions, more enjoyment, etc. All of which can positively improve your skills and keep you more consistent as you become more immersed. Hence the importance of constant practice of the basics and the addition of more advanced techniques as you improve. Another thing in terms of Taoism is meditation. There is something called Taoist meditations, with one website explaining emptiness, breathing, and I don't know what the fuck this word is, but it's like Nuguan meditation. But other types exist as well, and it has shown to reduce stress, help with anxiety, make you more positive in terms of emotions, and much, much more. And a lot of these effects can also help you improve your martial arts, as you can become less emotional or stressed or anxious during spars or matches, which are high stress environments. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and support the channel by hitting the join button for $2.99 a month.